Hey. It's Jet Black and I'm back in the game. So it's new fiscal year. I figured I'd get back to business. It's been a long time since we've spoken. Well, I've spoken, you've listened. And I'm kind of in a weird place right now. I really don't know where I'm headed with this, but I knew it had been too long since I'd spoken to people, so I figured why not, right? A lot of people ask me, why did you stop? What prevented you from keeping the press? And in short, a lot of these I did. Well, a lot of these, all both of them. First of all, before I get into that, I want to give a shout out to all my fans. Both of you guys are awesome, and you keep me going. Hopefully, maybe get a third fan out of this one. That's what's up. Anyway, so basically, I day drank, and out of the blue, I would get a hair up my ass to just say, "Hey, why not? Why not do another one?" Right? And I was like, all right, well, it's kind of getting crazy. I'm not going to get too into how much I was drinking and whatnot, but all I'm gonna say is, um, it could potentially put, if I put that out there, people might ask questions, about my control over my life and my vices. So anyway, I decided to get off the wagon, or get on the wagon rather. Since then, I've fallen off the wagon, and I'm back at it. So for the people who know me, know Mister Go to sleep at the club on a bar stool, and somehow maintain his balance even though he's knocked out on some heroin shit. Um, he's back, and he's trying to keep it down. But anyway, today got a little out of control. El Jimador, what is this? Tequila Silver. I'm not getting paid for it yet to give or get a sponsorship or endorsement from them. Which, by the way, if you're listening to Humidor, by all means, send the checks to me. And I'm going to just go ahead and put this out right now. To anybody who doesn't know, the phone number is 757-389-2003. Feel free to call me. Give me ideas of things to talk about, / I can give you the address and you can go ahead and cut that check. So anyway, going back to getting or falling off the wagon, basically got back to drinking again, and it's a beautifully ugly thing. Anyway, I'm me. This is what I do. But anyway, so moving on, wanted to talk about some just crazy stories from what my relationship with drink has caused me over the years. And I had a lot of good times, had a lot of weird times, dodged a couple of police on the way, and I stand here before you. So give you a quick story. This takes me back to about 2010, 2011. And I was in San Diego, a whale's vagina, right? Having a great time. Got some friends out there. We're out there partying. I haven't been to the Gas Lamp District in about that long, so it's about 10 years or so. And started partying. We're at the Double Deuce, getting it in. I don't know if the Double Deuce is still there, but if it is, we're riding a mechanical bull and just doing shots of whatever. And my boss was out there with me at the time, and we had a great time until she basically went outside. We was smoking cigarettes back in the time when I did, and I remember she just started getting loose. And next thing I know, she's flashing random people that are walking by the bar on the street and whatnot. And I'm like, let me go ahead and save her from herself. So I took her back to her hotel and, got her in the elevator, She fell asleep in the elevator. However long it takes to get from the ground floor to the fourth floor, she fell asleep. She was on that level. Anyway, I basically carried her out of there like a wounded warrior and drug her to her hotel room, put her to bed. And the whole time, I'm thinking, I know what this looks like. Black man dragging drunk white woman to a hotel. I know what it looks like. It wasn't like that. So anyway, moving on. Put her to sleep. Get back with the crew, and we go to this rooftop bar. Oh, before we get to the rooftop bar, we hop in a almost like a rickshaw with a bike on it, and we start driving. Or the dude who we paid is biking up this hill, and he gets about halfway up, and he's like, "Man, my legs are tired. I gotta take a break." And we say, "All right, well, my friend who's just as smashed as I am, he's like, all right, well, I'll go the rest of the way." So he bikes up the rest of the way. Meanwhile, I'm chilling with the driver in the back seat, and he's just like, "Oh, man, I can't do it anymore." I said, "Okay, cool. Well, this ride is free, right? Because you did have to work. We did have to work. We're all gonna have a good time." So he said the ride is free, which is cool. Uh, got back to the hotel, got to the rooftop bar. We continued drinking. Next thing you know, my friends are throwing patio furniture off the roof of the hotel, trying to hit cars that are parked on the side of the street under the hotel. So, being the voice of reason, I gather everybody, and I'm like, "All right, we gotta go back to the hotel room and sleep this off. You guys about to get us arrested." And you know, I know the world. I've been around for 33 years. I know how this shit goes. So they can. I was hanging out with a bunch of my white friends, and we both know when the police come, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, why did this black man tell you to throw patio furniture off the roof?" And they're like, "Oh no, he didn't." They're like, "Yeah, of course he did. Of course he did." So didn't want to take a chance on those guys. So I said, "Hey, let's all make that move back to the hotel room." So we do. Sleep it off the best we can before we catch a flight back in the morning back to DC, where I was living at the time. And get to the airport, still drunk. Before you get on the plane, calm my nerves. I always have a couple drinks before and on the plane. So meanwhile, mind you, I haven't had a glass of water in what felt like 9 days. And get on the airplane, everything's cool. We start hitting high altitude. I'm like, all right, yeah. About to get home, about to see the wife, beat that thing up because it's been a minute. And I start getting hot. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I so hot? Mind you, this is the winter time, which in San Diego isn't that damn hot. But, you get on the plane or whatever. So I got a jacket on, and I'm like, man, I'm getting hot. But I'm not sweating. I can't figure out what the hell's going on. I'm hot as hell, but I can't sweat for some reason. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and take this jacket off. Take the jacket off. I'm in a long sleeve shirt with a wife beater on under it. And, well, I don't know if wife beater is the correct term, but I'm old school. I got habits I gotta break, but I'm getting too old for that. So I'm just saying it until I die and just get chastised by saying it, probably until the day I go. But anyway, so I got a long sleeve shirt on. I got a wife beater on under it, and I'm still hot as hell. So I take the long sleeve shirt off. Now I'm chilling on the plane in a wife beater and just hot as hell, agitated. People are staring at me. And I'm like, oh, I can't take this shit anymore. My stomach starts bubble guts. I'm like, okay, it's time to make that move to the aft end of the airplane. And I got to do what I got to do. So all I remember is I stood up and then I woke up. I stood up and then I woke up on the plane staring at the ceiling. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm looking at the ceiling. I look at the aisle. Everybody's staring at me in the aisle. And I'm looking at them and I go, so nobody's going to help me. Everybody's just going to stare at me. I just fall in the middle of the aisle and everybody's just going to stare at me. Nobody's going to try to help me up or anything. It's like, fuck all y'all. I remember standing up and then waking up again. Except this time I was in the back of the plane And people are trying to give me water and orange juice because they figure, oh, maybe his blood sugar's low or whatever. But they're waking me up and they're feeding me these different drinks. And whenever you see the movie, you ever seen the movie Airplane? You know, they go, is there a doctor on the plane? Or, you know, they always do that in different TV shows and movies. That's a real fucking thing. They actually do that shit. So somebody was like, is there a doctor on the plane? This guy stands up and goes, I'm a doctor. It's like, get the fuck out of here. So he comes back to the back of the plane. And he was like, young man, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. He was like, what's your name? And I told him my name. And he said, where are you from? I said, I'm from Tampa, Florida. And he goes, okay. So, son, what do you do for a living? And I said, I'm in the United States Navy. And he goes, oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, he's drunk. He's drunk, everybody. It's okay. He's just drunk. Don't worry about him. He's not a diabetic. His blood sugar is not low. He's just drunk. I've seen this 1,000 times. And everybody else had, took a sigh of relief, and they're like, oh, okay, just another drunk sailor. And it was good after that. They took care of me. They sat me up, and slowly but surely I regained my faculties and everything, and I was all right for the rest of the day. But I don't know, just one of those times where I knew I should have chilled out, but look, I'm gonna hold on one second. I'm gonna take a drink. But anyway, young boy learning lessons. Here's what it is. So after that, though, I got my act together, um, and chilled out on the drinking for about 2 weeks, and then I was back at it. And when I was I lived in Germany for a while too. For the people who are hearing this and didn't know that, I lived in Germany for a while. Best 3 years of my life. If I could go back today, I would. And if you've never been to Germany, I would recommend you go to Germany. I've never had that much fun in my life. So shout out to my crew that used to be out there in Germany with me, out there tearing the streets up until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, with no regard. So anyway, went to Oktoberfest one time. And so you got different kinds of Oktoberfest. You got the main one that's in Munich that everybody knows. And the other smaller cities, they all have Spring Fests and Fall Fests. So there's a Frühlingsfest in Stuttgart, and then there is a Volksfest in Stuttgart. And I was in Stuttgart. So we at Volksfest, doing our thing, having a good time. Everybody's partying. It is what it is. I'm dressed up in the traditional wear. I got a whole leather overalls on with a flannel shirt under it, button down to my navel, earrings in, halfway hooded it up, and having a good time. Next thing I know, we're hanging out with some Germans. We all dancing, jumping on top of tables, and singing while we're drinking. And this one dude is like, oh, man. So he puts his arm around me, and we're all hanging out, having a good time. And he's like, oh, let's go up to the top bar where they're selling hard liquor. I'm like, let's do it. So we get up there. We're taking shots of Jaeger while we're, smashing beer at the same time. Not a good choice. Next thing I know, my boy is like, he's staring at you a lot, man. And I'm like, yeah. It's just Germany. There's not a lot of us over there. By the way, if you didn't know, I am black. So there's not a lot of us over there, right? So he's like, man, this dude's staring at you a lot. And I'm like, yeah, well, maybe he's never seen black people. He wants to welcome me to his country and, let me know that things have changed since the 1930s and 40s. And, they're new people. Things have changed. He's like, nah, man, I don't know about that. It's like an uncomfortable staring that he's doing. And I'm like, okay. So next thing I know, he kind of like comes up behind me and starts talking real close in my ear. He's trying to put his hands around my waist. And I was like, hey, it's not that kind of party. It's not how I get down. My wife's downstairs. Well, soon to be wife is downstairs and stuff. So I had to explain to him what it was. And after that, We go back down, meet up with the ladies that we came with, and we're like, all right, let's get up out of here. So about to